Let's talk about emojis.
Ooh.
All right. This is a story from the globeandmail.com. A Saskatchewan judge says an emoji can amount to a contractual agreement.
Okay.
And ordered a farmer to pay more than $82,000 for not delivering product to the grain buyer after responding to a text message with a thumbs up.
I knew it was going to be the thumbs up, too. I knew.
The Court of King's Bench decision said that the grain buyer with Southwest Terminal sent a text to farmers in March of 2021 saying that the company was looking to buy 86 tons of flax for $17 per bushel to be delivered in the fall. The buyer, Kent Mickleborough, later spoke with Shift Current farmer Chris Archer on the phone and texted a picture of a contract to deliver the flax in November, adding, "Please confirm flax contract." Archer texted back a thumbs up emoji, but when November came around, the flax was not delivered and prices for the crop had increased. Mickleborough said that the emoji amounted to an agreement because he had texted numerous contracts to Archer, who previously confirmed through text message and always fulfilled the order. But the farmer argued that the emoji indicated only that he had received the contract in the text message. "I deny that he accepted the thumbs up emoji as a digital signature of the incomplete contract," Archer said in an affidavit to court. "I did not have time to review the flax contract and merely wanted to indicate that I did receive his text message." Justice Timothy Keene said in a June decision that the thumbs up emoji did meet signature requirements and therefore the farmer breached his contract. The judge pointed to the dictionary.com definition of the thumbs up emoji, which said it is used to express assent, approval, or encouragement in digital communications. She said, "This court readily acknowledges that a thumbs-up emoji is a non-traditional means to sign a document, but nevertheless, under these circumstances, this was a valid way to convey the two purposes of a signature," Keene wrote in her decision. She noted that while this case is novel, emojis are now commonly used, and therefore this is in fact an agreement.
Wow.
So I hand out thumbs-up emojis like candy on Halloween. So who knows what I'm legally on the hook for now.
And in our office, so a long time, we did not have like any sort of our little communication on our computers was strictly text.
It was like black and green. It was like old school garbage. Like back when computers didn't have mouse.
It was called intercom.
Mice.
But,
yeah.
But they recently went to Microsoft Teams, and we have access to all the emojis. And the thumbs up can be used in two different ways. It can acknowledge or be a affirmative. Like we use it both ways. Like I could see both sides of that argument. That was like, you need to approve this contract. That was an okay, I'll look at it.
Right.
Not a approved.
Right.
Yeah.
And even in real life, like I've used it as like someone telling me, "Hey, this, and I'll be like, "Got it."
Right.
Thumbs up.
Yeah.
As in, I have heard you. I acknowledge this.
Yeah.
Get back to you later. But that could also mean I will do this for you. Yes. It's an agreement.
Right.
And
yeah.
so I can see the argument both ways too. I don't know. But as it feels like it takes a little bit of a leap of like, but this is the same thing as a signature on a contract.
Right.
Is it?
Right.
Is it really? Don't we need notaries? I thought we should have it. Well, I guess that's in the United States and this is in Canada, but still, like, that's a bit much. That's a bit much. Trombone Dog asks, is it the emoji itself or reacting to the message with the emoji? Like the little, you push and hold and you can give a reaction. I don't know.
Right.
They feel like two different things, but maybe they aren't. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's move on to France. Story from NPR.org. President Emmanuel Macron is partially blaming video games for the spread of violence in France following the shooting death of a teenager during a police traffic stop in Paris suburb last week. NPR reports, it sometimes feels like some of them are experiencing on the streets the video games that have intoxicated them, Macron said in a press conference on July 1st. He added that protesters using Snapchat and TikTok to organize themselves and spread a mimicking of violence, which for the youngest leads to a kind of disconnect from reality. Concerns that video games promote shootings, massacres, or rioting are now about half a century old. It has been traced back to the 1976 release of Death Race, an arcade video game which put players behind a wheel of a car to mow down humanoid figures for points. That was referenced on The Office, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. I did get 200 points in a deleted scene for running over Meredith. The argument gained renewed traction in the 1990s with the release of much more realistic first-person shooter games. It's an old boogeyman that politicians have latched onto in the wake of horrific tragedies, but it has become less common as troves of studies have largely concluded that there is no causal link between video games and actual violent behavior. Mm-hmm. Christopher Ferguson, a professor at Stetson University in Florida, who has studied the impact of such games on the public, said he is surprised at Macron's comments. The president is 45 years old and belongs to a generation raised with video games, so seeing him mention this is almost anachronistic. Ferguson said, sounding perplexed. The evidence is very clear. Whatever may be going on in France, whatever violence is occurring, it's certainly not due to violence in video games. Decades of research, especially long-term experiments spanning decades, have consistently found that playing violent video games do not cause even prank-level aggressive behaviors, let alone violent crimes, Ferguson said. He also noted that overall violent crime in the U.S. dropped significantly between 1993 and 2020, the same period during which violent video games soared in popularity. And it's not just in the United States. A 2019 study out of Oxford University determined that early violent video game playing among British teenagers did not predict serious or violent criminal behavior later in life. According to Ferguson, if video games were the cause of rampant violence, the countries like Japan, South Korea, and the Netherlands, which consume more violent video games per capita, would be rife with bloodshed. Instead, they are three of the most peaceful countries on the planet in terms of violent crime. You could wave a magic wand and take all these people's video games away, and that's not going to have any effect in any way going to help their lives, and not effect in going to help their lives or reduce their aggression. So why do politicians turn to this familiar refrain? Ferguson said it is the way to for elected leaders to shift the blame away from failing government policies. Gets people talking about the wrong thing. They're thinking about video games. They're not thinking about gun control or whatever inequalities are happening in France, Ferguson said.
Wow.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. Weird that it keeps happening.
Yeah. Over and over and over.
Over and over again. Sounds like the scare in the late 40s about comics, and the 80s with music. Yep. 90s or 80s and 90s with D&D and Harry Potter and all that kind of stuff. Everything's bringing about the destruction of society. Comics just had like a lot of gore into them and stuff. So it had a lot of violence in comic books too, and didn't really have that's how the Comics Code came about. We talked about that in our first week.
We did.
Death Race 2000, fun movie with Sylvester Stallone and David Carradine. That's right. I forgot they made that into a movie. But yeah, so that's where we're at. That's where we're at. France is on fire right now, in a bad way. France is on fire. We're not hearing about it.